الأولى أن الله خلقنا, that Allah created us. There's proof on that in the Quran and in the Sunnah and by intellect, and there's so much proof, and it's so plenty and great and dignified that you literally can go on without exaggeration for months talking about these verses, if not more. توحيد الربوبية is essential to resist doubts.
وأصلا تعريف الإيمان هو يعني أن تؤمن بالله تبارك وتعالى اليقين الذي لا يعتريه شك.
من سواكم في حديث أو قديم أطلع القرآن صبحا للرشاد هاتفا في مسمع الكون العظيم ليس غير الله ربا للعباد.
It is something instinctive and natural in the human being. That in fact the very human thought process itself is shaped by religious values. Every human being, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, is naturally inclined to worship God alone.
Le docteur Justin Barrett, directeur des recherches à l'université d'Oxford, a déclaré que la majorité des preuves scientifiques des 10 dernières années sur le développement de l'esprit des enfants a montré que les enfants ont une prédisposition naturelle à considérer que le monde extérieur a été créé par une source d'intelligence immense.
Learning those kinds of concepts are really easy for young kids because in some ways the way their minds develop are already tuned in that direction. Okay? 3-year-olds can actually get God right on some of these tasks better than they get their mom right. So this is my story then. These various mental tools, and I've named 3 candidates, there are more, converge to make us naturally receptive to the belief in at least one God. I think of it as sort of a God-shaped conceptual space that then the particular cultural God can fit into that space.
So it's something that's firm in the fitrah.
They start saying, oh God, help me. And when they say, oh God, the name is not important. It's the concept that is important. What are they calling to conceptually? Conceptually, in their minds, they are calling upon the being which they know instinctively has power over everything in the universe.
This is the proposal. The proposal of the atheist.
Le Créateur, tu dois croire qu'il existe, qu'il est éternel, que personne ne l'a créé, qu'il a toujours été là. Parce que si tu te poses la question, qui a créé ce Créateur, fameuse question qui revient souvent, la réponse elle est très simple, c'est une question infinie. J'espère que c'est bien compris. Le fait de dire qui a créé le Créateur, c'est une question infinie, une question qui n'est pas bonne.
So if you say who created God, it means that you accepted this premise that God was created. You cannot say before Allah Jalla wa Ala what was there, because Allah Jalla wa Ala has no start. Allah Jalla wa Ala is eternal and who has no beginning. He is the creator, so we cannot draw analogy between ourselves and Allah Jalla wa Ala, and we cannot apply the rules that we apply it on ourselves as created beings on Allah Jalla wa Ala.
But you'll be disappointed because atheists have somehow managed to convince many people that atheism is a type of rational choice. It's the default position of the scientist and the academic and the intellectual. So a lot of people today imagine that most scientists are atheists. And this alone, just this, makes people sit up and take the claim of atheism seriously. So this claim that the scientific community is an atheist community is not really a true claim at all.
المداد لعمر قضيناه في فرحات وحكايا مصلى غيث وأمطار روحي بوابل الذكر فأذكى تقايا.
The theory of intelligent design holds that there are certain features of the universe and of living systems that are best explained by an intelligent cause rather than an undirected natural process. The kind of features we're talking about are things that have been discovered in science over the last half-century. The fine-tuning of the laws of physics and chemistry, the exquisite nanotechnology that has been discovered inside cells, the miniature machines, the engines, the sliding clamps. The most interesting thing to me personally is the discovery of the reams and reams of digital code that's stored inside DNA and transmitted in RNA.
Intelligent design theory is supported by doctoral scientists, researchers, and theorists at a number of universities, colleges, and research institutions around the world.
Islamic religion does not deny that the Big Bang happened. The Islamic religion, however, teaches that the Big Bang was under the control of the Creator.
وكان الكتاب عماد الوداد زرعنا به وردة في الحنايا.
You claim that we arrived here in dunya, we were born, we were nurtured, we were raised up. We have everything in dunya that we need, air, water, food. And all of that was done by no one? An example given by Imam Abu Hanifa to an atheist.
So a messenger comes to Abu Hanifa from Ahl Sunnah, crosses the Tigris River, is complaining that there's some philosophers, atheists that want a challenge to a debate, and they want Abu Hanifa to take on that challenge. Abu Hanifa says, okay, let them know, I'll be there shortly. He has to cross the Tigris River to get there. Time passed, and the messenger got worried. Noon, evening, sundown, night. The atheists, or those who want to debate, began to mock them. So the Muslims began to get tense in a way, because they knew Abu Hanifa was the Imam, one of the most knowledgeable of their time. And he was a man of his word. And he would fulfill his promise. But they thought that maybe something happened to him which stopped him from attending that event. Late at night, Abu Hanifa shows up. And the Muslims are there and they ask in concern, what happened to Abu Hanifa? Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says, what if I told you, look, when he says, what if I told you, that makes it no longer alive. He said, what if I told you, on my way here, got to the Tigris River, got to cross to get over here. There was no navigator, there's no boat, no sailor, no nothing. Suddenly, planks of wood were rising out of the trees. And they're all cut evenly, same shape, same size. The width, the length is all perfect. And the boat put itself together, all alone, all this on itself. And it docks alone. And it sustains itself alone. The people trying to debate him began to laugh, said, impossible. A boat makes itself, positions itself, docks, undocks, perfects itself, loads and unloads. Impossible. They began to wonder if this man that they're claiming is the most knowledgeable, the biggest scholar, if he's, being ridiculous or he's a childish type of guy. What's going on here? Abu Hanifa basically said what we would say today, arrest my case. That's all I had to say. If you cannot believe a boat came into creation by itself, and this is only a boat, how can you believe the whole world, the universe, with its sun, with its moon, with its stars and oceans, with its mountains and planets, came into being without a creator? They're going to call you crazy. But a universe can come into creation by chance?
ما للضيق والأحزان فيها الجو مكانه وقت الضيم والونات راحة ولا زمانه ما للضيق والأحزان فيها الجو مكانه وقت الضيم والونة راح ولا زمانه نبض الساعات والبسمات حانوا على الهوانة فرحة عيد فيه تزيد وتتفاخر في كيانه وتتفاخر في كيانه.
We live in an organized, systemized universe where we see organization, where we see systems. It's rational to conclude that there is power and will and intelligence behind it.
If you look at a painting, you know that there was a painter. If you look at a sculpture, you know that there was a sculptor. If you look at a building, you know that there was an architect and a construction company. And yet we are to look at creation and think that there is not a creator.
ضيف أحبابنا نور واللي غايب النادى حبل الود يجمعنا يا عيد السعادة. ضيف أحبابنا نور واللي غايب النادى إلا الضحكة الحلوة علي الصوت بزيادة لا تغيبين عسى نغماتك بعيد الهلا عادة قبل الود يجمعنا في عيد السعادة. ضيف أحبابنا نور واللي غايب النادى حبل الود يجمعنا في عيد السعادة. ضيف أحبابنا نور واللي غايب النادى إلا الضحكة الحلوة علي الصوت بزيادة لا تغيبين عسى نغماتك بعيد الهلا عادة. إلا الضحكة الحلوة علي الصوت بزيادة لا تغيبين عسى نغماتك بعيد الهلا عادة.
أشهد أن لا